Ukrainian FPV drones brutally annihilate Russian infantry and equipment along frontline. Ukraine's defense intelligence has released new footage showcasing the results of another week of combat operations carried out by its special forces. The video highlights the destructive precision of drone operators and artillery who continue to deliver heavy blows against Russian forces along the front line. The Department of Active Operations has become well known for its skilled use of FPV drones. In the latest strike compilation, one Russian soldier, exhausted by relentless pursuit, was forced to crawl through bushes in a desperate attempt to escape, only to meet his end at the hands of Ukrainian operators. The footage captures not only the elimination of Russian infantry, but also the destruction of enemy equipment, transport vehicles, weapons depots, and makeshift shelters. In addition, Ukrainian forces demonstrated the effective use of aerial bombers to deliver powerful explosive payloads directly onto fortified Russian positions. Particularly noteworthy is the return of the so-called Drone Dragon, a modified unmanned system deployed by Ukrainian specialists. This platform is capable of inflicting devastating fire damage on entrenched enemy positions, turning occupied trenches and forest lines into burning traps for Russian troops. The combination of FPV drones, aerial bombers, and artillery fire forms a multi-layered strike capability that consistently prevents Russian forces from consolidating positions or moving supplies safely. The Ukrainian Army's elite 92nd Assault Brigade thwarted a potentially powerful Russian assault along Ukraine's northern border with Russia last week and knocked out an entire company of increasingly rare armored vehicles in the process. The successful defense by one of the Ukrainian Army's best brigades comes amid discontent in another elite Ukrainian brigade holding the line along the same stretch of the 1,100-kilometer front line. Ukrainian forces excel on the defense, but some critics insist the Ukrainians shouldn't be attacking while they're struggling to fully staff their infantry battalions. On or just before Thursday, the 92nd Assault Brigade's drones detected a large Russian force on the move outside the village of Zhuravlyovka in Russia's Belgorod Oblast, just opposite the border with Ukraine's Kharkiv Oblast. The enemy, using armored vehicles and a significant number of personnel on motorcycles and all-terrain vehicles, decided to stage another meat assault. The brigade, which began the war as a vehicle-heavy mechanized brigade, but reorganized to emphasize its infantry firepower, reported on social media. The 92nd Assault Brigade laid waste to the gathering Russian forces. The equipment and personnel were blown up by mines, hit by artillery, and hotly burned by drones of various types, the brigade claimed. Analysts counted around 10 knocked-out BMP fighting vehicles and tanks, which is a lot of BMPs and tanks at this late stage of the wider war. The assault that the 92nd Assault Brigade broke up on Thursday may be the same assault that the adjacent 58th Motorized Brigade also intercepted in Belgorod around the same time. The 58th Motorized Brigade reported heavy Russian losses: a tank, 8 infantry fighting vehicles, 2 motorcycles, 2 ATVs, and a car were destroyed. An infantry fighting vehicle and 4 ATVs were damaged. Leaving a pile of burned scrap metal in the fields, the invaders rolled back to lick their wounds. The 58th Motorized Brigade crowed. Of course, except for those who became victims of the adventurism of their own command. But Ukrainian commanders may also be guilty of adventurism along this sector of the front, but the Ukrainians never secured their supply lines. In February, an elite Russian drone team deployed to the Kursk incursion and swiftly severed the only main supply route between Sudzha and the border with Ukraine, destroying hundreds of Ukrainian vehicles in the process. The 47th Mechanized Brigade was in the thick of that fighting, and since retreating back to Ukraine in early March, has been supporting Ukrainian forces' more limited raids into its Kursk incursion, raids that risk heavy Ukrainian casualties for fleeting territorial gains. At the same time, units such as the 92nd Assault Brigade and 58th Motorized Brigade are fighting to hold back Russian forces trying to advance into Kharkiv. While occasional local counterattacks may be appropriate for depleted Ukrainian brigades, a successful large counteroffensive would require not only good planning and substantial resources, but also a technological leap or other advantage to surprise Russia, Iskola said.